Hello people, my name is Matt, and today I'm going to be showing you digital physical versions of storing data within Redstone. So first we're going to get started with just a basic idea of what the difference between it is. So digital would be something like a redstone torch holding a signal. So we could get a lever, and that would be holding a signal. That's holding a signal. So, and it's digital because it's stored within the block. A piston, however, would be different. A piston would be a physical thing because it's physically moving something, and that physical movement could potentially just create a kind of redstone current that could power something else. So, like, people could create things like this, or what people have made. Turn one off, turns the chain off. They will retract at the same time. That's kind of instant wiring. Okay, so first I think we should evaluate what is storage and what isn't storage in terms of Redstone. So these devices are not storage. Why? Because storage must have a set and reset. We can't set this. Well, there is kind of a set. This is set, this is reset. So it feels in one block, almost. It has to stay the same despite the state of inputs. This does not stay the same after I input it. Neither does this. It actually works completely differently. This is a storage. So I think I might have broke the wiring for this actually during a last recording attempt. But basically, it has a set, and that will stay independent. That will stay on independent of this input. It also has a reset, and that turns it off. Pretty basic knowledge. So let's go on to just a few examples of digital and non-digital, and physical terms of storage. So it must have a set and reset. This sets the data. It does the output. It's pretty simple. This resets the data, turns off the outputs. And if I set it, no matter how many button presses, the outputs can stay on. So are there any? Actually, no. We're going to the second one. This is digital because it's done via redstone rather than pistons. So we have a set that sets the output, and a reset that sets that turns it off, and the output will stay the same despite of that. So there are a few disadvantages and advantages of digital and physical. So a pro, there is less delay. It's actually pretty much instantaneous, apart from a tick delay from the redstone torch. But there is actually almost no delay. Con, space needed. So this actually requires a lot more space, and we'll get into that why. And yeah, a pro is small space, and it actually does less lag than pistons. Imagine if you had like, I don't know, 128 bits of storage. You had 128 pistons constantly changing. That would lag rather than having just a simple redstone torch changing every so often. But a con is it has a longer delay. The delay actually is longer due to the torches. And overall in a computer it would take longer. So here are two compact examples that I had. I tried to compact them down to the minimum that I could. So yeah, I mean they're fairly compact. So here is digital and here is physical. You may be wondering that, hang on a minute, this is actually smaller than that. Yeah, that's true, but I'll explain anyway. Why? So I did put, as a pro, it's small space and this needs more space. There is a perfectly good reason for this. What it is that you're going to need inputs for this. So these are going to have to come out aside. You can't really run it on top. You could potentially run it on top like this, but once again that just basically increases the size of it, so you do need to have an input for this. Whereas with this, the inputs can just go on the side using buttons, and you could run redstone if you needed to, if you wanted to, but the redstone is much more compact. So if you'd run redstone, yes, they'd be the same size. So what still makes this bigger? The fact is that when you're in And the output, you have to run more redstone in a few of these places, either there or there. So there are designs that will be smaller, but ultimately digital I find is better. So here is my digital compact example. It's simple. We have a set and a reset. Very small, very little delay. So you may be wondering, well, how can I use this to my advantage? And there are a lot of ways that you can use it to your advantage. Here's a practical Minecraft thing. So you're playing on a server and you don't feel very secure in your house. You don't have any like defenses because you can't really. So that redstone torch is off. Now, whenever someone goes through this door, this redstone torch will turn on. You don't have to be physically standing on the pressure plate for it to be on, because it remembers that it is. So so now if someone's been in your house and you come back on the server, you see that it's on, and you know it wasn't you, then you know that someone's been in your house. However, you could also set this to like blow up TNT as a trap. However, you may also see that if it is you that just walked through, just like it's me, I know that there was an intruder, so I just click this button. That resets the latch, the digital memory, and it turns off the torch. How simple is that? It's very simple, very easy. Now, here's an example within Redstone. So here is something that I've pre-built. It is like one of the world's tiniest kind of functioning computers that simply has an input, not really an output, but it just displays something, so it kind of is an output. It also has a mini RAM and a mini storage. So we're going to input some data. This data is right here in this lab. This is stored in the RAM of the computer, so if I turn it off, I lose all that data, nothing. But if I turn the computer off, I don't want to lose that data. How can I do this? Well, I can store it in the memory. Now it's stored in the memory and the RAM. I turn my computer off, it's still stored within the memory. So it's stored in the storage. The power to the computer is off. However, this data is still being stored. So even if I turn the computer back on, turn it off again, that data still can be there because it's stored in the hard drive, not in the RAM. The RAM gets deleted whenever the computer's turned off. You can have the RAM loaded and still have it in the hard drive. The main kind of thing. I'm representing this as like an actual computer rather than a Redstone computer. Let's say I don't want this data anymore. I want new data. I can just delete the data and it's gone. There's now no data there, and that's it. So that's just like the kind of things involving storage, especially digital and physical kind of storage. Not the actual terms for it, but that's kind of different ways of storage using Redstone. So here is the Redstone for it. It's really basic actually. So let me go through it. So firstly we've got this input that will activate this little triplet, and this will turn this cell on. So it's going into this AND gate, and it's also turning the data thing on. You also have this button, but we won't get into this, I don't think. It's just off. Yes, this just turns the computer off, and it goes around and it just resets this. So now, whenever this data is on, so I might activate it. A bit of a live demonstration. This part of this AND gate is is activated, and then if I store it and there is data in there. So if there's no data within there, then it can't store anything. So it's not going to just go and store something, even when there's no data in there. Then that will turn off, and it will trip this, and it will turn it on, so there's now data within here. Now this data is stored. However, I want to deactivate it. All I have to do is run a redstone to the reset area, and that will delete the storage. As simple as that. It's very easy, and it's kind of like the smallest computer I think you could ever make that kind of has properties of a real life computer, not a Redstone one. It doesn't really have a CPU or anything. This is just like the kind of storage ideas behind it. So thank you very much for watching this little storage episode of Redstone. So thanks for watching and goodbye.